Todd, thanks for stopping by.
Hey, it's my pleasure.
We already had a whole conversation, which we should have been recording about, that included my favorite city in Vermont, Montpelier, skateboarding, sleeping
Yes,
as a middle-aged man.
we have a lot of the same. We are like, we're basically twins.
We're both third children. We really got deep. We
Yeah.
got deep. But that's not why we're here today. Well, maybe it is. You don't know. Talk to me about DAG and what DAG is and does, but I also want to talk about your background before DAG.
Okay, well, DAG, which is formally is DAG, but everybody calls us DAG, and it's okay.
I'm going to call you DAG.
It's okay.
That's what it says in the
Everybody,
booth.
and we say like things like Daganomics,
Okay.
and,
Okay.
so DAG is a planning, designing, and building company for CEA facilities. So we call ourselves a grow facility company. So if you're growing indoors, we can build a facility for you. And we help you out from concept to harvest, the whole 9 yards.
And where is there a geographic reach to your business, or is it like, if you want a facility, we're going to help you build it, whether you're in Maryland, Massachusetts, Florida, wherever?
We're more likely east of the Mississippi.
Okay.
So
Me too.
Yeah. So
But that's
Yeah.
that's interesting because
we have done stuff in California, but for the most part, our business is east of the Mississippi.
And what is east of the Mississippi is, from my perspective, like, well, newer markets for sure than
Right,
California,
the newer one.
but also the regulatory environment is stronger, but also stronger. That's not the right word, but more strict, I guess. But also can take into account everything learned west of the Mississippi.
That's true. And those markets are really good. There's a lot of enthusiasm. There's a lot of excitement. We've got, we built in Missouri. We built in Massachusetts. We're building in New Jersey. So,
No shortage of-
We're enjoying those markets.
No shortage of cannabis to grow in those markets, and in fact, they need to grow more in some of those markets.
Yes.
And is it exciting to be sort of on the early stage of the supply chain, where people are like, we got to get into this market, and you need to help us do that?
Yeah, that's where we are best at. Early in the market, where companies really need the expertise that we can deliver, so that they're not lost when they're trying to get their facility, all the equipment, all the different decisions, all the thousands of decisions, knowing how much it's going to cost, all that complexity. We like to be there for that.
Yeah, and unlike, maybe I'm oversimplifying, but unlike some of those Western markets where it was even legacy growers coming in and building a facility, these are more, let's call it corporate. Like, they need to get a license, they need to get in, and they are coming to it with maybe less experience on the growing side, but more experience on the business side.
Right.
It's the combination of the two that make a successful cannabis company many times. And so that level of professionalism of the teams building is probably refreshing.
It is. I mean, it's about running a business, and it's about having a production facility that's efficient and effective. And it really seems like the clients that we have really understand this. And we're here to make it really efficient.
Is there a sweet spot in terms of size of facility that most people are coming to you with? Like, are they saying, we want 100,000 square feet, we want, I don't know, this many rooms, or is it like, this is the space we have, how do we help maximize it?
I would say 10 to 20,000 square feet. You're able to produce quite a bit. You're able to produce enough to be a legitimate business. And a lot of times, companies want to go really big right away, and it's not necessarily a good idea. You want to make sure you know how to grow the product. You've got a good amount of need for the product. People are loving your product, and then go ahead and expand, because we always do like a master plan for expansion. But start off. Make sure you can run your operation well, and then grow from there. So 10 to 20 is generally where a lot of, we're doing a lot of bigger facilities, but 10 to 20 is a good size.
And
1,000 square feet.
Yes. A million. No, that's Canada. Canada's like, we're going to build 7 million square feet of greenhouse space. It's like, are we?
Yeah.
Or, that doesn't seem like a good idea. There's a lot of million square foot greenhouses new.
Yeah.
That if you want to grow tomatoes, I can tell you where it's great. There's one right at the airport in Edmonton. Unused.
Yeah,
Perfect.
We've heard a few of these stories.
Yeah, that's too big, obviously. Or too big. It was too big at the time for what they were going to do. And once the building is up and running, and sort of, it does take time, and this is probably one of the cautions for people building these things, not you, but the people who are moving underground, like it takes time to like optimize the space. Like you're building it for purpose built, but they need to figure out how to actually operate in that space and do it well, and then think about expanding.
Correct. Knowing all your set points and knowing how to check on that and how everything's running, knowing the temperature in your rooms, the humidity, knowing that that's under control, knowing how all of your plants are reacting. So it takes a little time to adjust that from the very beginning. And we just finished. A lot of times we say your first grow, just be careful. No, it's not going to be great. But we just finished a facility in New Jersey, and their first grow hit the target exactly.
Perfect.
So things are dialed in pretty nicely.
Get them sat down for a case study.
Yeah, they did a really good job. They had they were very thorough in the entire process. We're part of every decision. We help guide them along in all those decisions. So. You can do it, but a lot of times your first go at it, you're going to have some learning curve on it.
You certainly are. Maybe even the 10th time, but it
is. There are companies that take a bit.
For sure. Talk to me about your background in particular, because you're not an architect. I was told. You told me.
No.
You come to it from a marketing perspective.
Yes.
Tell me.
Yes.
What were you doing before this?
So I'm old enough to have run my own agency for 25 years.
Impossible.
Yeah.
How can we do that when we're 30?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I ran my own creative agency for 25 years. And I had this client, Dominion Ag, which now evolved into DAG. And I was like, this is an amazing opportunity, because this industry, for one, I love the idea that cannabis was going to be legal in some way, shape, or form. And I really knew that there's a lot of benefits to this plant. I read up on Meshulam and what he studied, and helping epilepsy, and my mother had cancer, and she was feeling better when she was smoking and all that. So I was like, this is a really great market. I want to be at the beginning of a market. And I knew this company. I was already doing creative work for them, and I actually went up to them and said, I really love this business. I love the fact that you're building these cultivation facilities. They had originally built a lettuce facility for Bright Farms, so they were into the business really early. And I said, there's a huge opportunity for our company, for this company, and I want to be a part of it.
Right.
So, my background is branding and marketing, and I've learned so much about construction, so much about all the equipment. I've been coming to all these shows, and I started off learning from all the different equipment providers. I'm like, who do these people mean to? What do they mean to us? What are these? What's fertigation? What's so. I'm 3.5 years in. I've learned a lot, but I'm not an engineer and I'm not an architect.
But you come to a lot of shows.
But I come to a lot of shows.
And over those 3 years, like obviously lots of new markets, certainly east of the Mississippi, have either come online or are about to. And do you see the same evolution in every market? Like, well, hopefully Florida will become legal,
yes.
legal at some point. But every new market, like, do you hear the same questions of the first day of like New Jersey and the first day of Maryland? Like, are all these companies are these markets going through a cycle that seems familiar every time?
Well, it's familiar but different. Each market seems different to me. It's funny, I was just in Minnesota, and
everybody was at that show.
Oh, you were at?
No, I wasn't, but a lot of people.
Oh, okay,
were lucky.
Yeah. And I was at. I can't remember the name of the show. It was
Lucky
not.
Leaf.
It was
Oh,
one
it was
before
different.
Lucky Leaf. It was like Minnesota Cannabis.
Yeah, CannACON. No, I'm just kidding.
It wasn't CannACON. Anyway, but so I went to the show, and everyone in Minnesota was listening very diligently and carefully about how to get this process going and how to do it right. And there was a woman that was leading up this whole thing, and she had gotten all the legalities through and everything, and she had done an incredible job. So they're trying to do everything right and learn from all the states that that have done things wrong. New York is having so many
admirable
problems. And so it's funny, you see all these different cultures and states, and the way they handle things. And Minnesota Nice is a real thing.
Yes.
These people are really very concerned, and they're looking at the best way to bring this out to market. They already have cannabis drinks in bars and everything.
Everywhere,
So you know, every market's a little different. Some open it up too much to everybody. Some markets are, you know, too
precious. Yeah.
So you know, everyone does it a little different, but I think we're all learning a lot from watching this very carefully.
Well, this has been great to meet you, talk about DAG, and then I'm going to see you on the event circuit, clearly.
Oh, yes, you will.
And then we'll skateboard when we get to South Florida.
Let's skateboard next time I see you.
Seems like a good idea for you, a very bad idea for me, but I appreciate you stopping by. It's good to get to know you, and we'll see you at the next show. I don't know when it is, but we'll see you.
I'll be in New Jersey.
New Jersey, when is that?
That's September 8th or something
Okay.
like that.
Easy peasy.
Okay.
Awesome. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Jay.